Hi everybody. Today I'm here with my dad. This is Elliot.
Hello.
And we are going to be making a similar video to the one I made with my mom, where we talked about my upcoming adventures and just how, as a parent, you feel about it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. And so this summer, when I first started thinking about just going to travel and not focusing on college right now, one of the first people that I talked to was my dad. So I was starting to share that I didn't really feel called to go to college and that I really wanted to go adventure and go see new places and do new things out in the world. So when I was telling you all of this stuff for the first time, how did you feel about all of it?
Very excited. I could really hear you speaking from your calling. Like you just said, you didn't feel a call to go to college. But when I hear that, I think, oh, you felt a call to something else. And so to hear you speak about having a big adventure and just like starting right out on it, I think the kind of words you were using and the way that, you know, your enthusiasm about it, I could hear the life and the joy in it from your voice. It was like it was your calling you. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's a wonderful thing. Like I think people search their whole lives to get aligned with their calling, or they fight against it and kind of feel really bad in their lives. And so for me to hear you being really clear about this is what I want to do, I felt happy and excited on the one hand, and at the same time I started thinking like, oh boy, this might be hard for a few other people in your life that have been really invested in your well-being, like your mom and your grandparents, and you know, so I knew other people were going to have thoughts about it and probably want to counsel you towards, you know, caution. Why don't you do this instead, and then you could do that later. But just that I could hear your clarity of your vision coming through, that was the most profound part for me.
I knew that my mom would be more hesitant with that idea of not going to college. Like, that just kind of wasn't even in the picture, and for so long I had been, you know, taking art classes, or had been like focused on I want to make a lot of money and you know, just trying to figure out how I can get there. And obviously college was in that plan, and so talking to you helped me figure out how to kind of break the ice and just come out with the fact that I didn't want to go to college at that point. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So as a parent, how do you feel with one of your kids deciding not to go to college right now?
I feel good, if that's an answer. I admit I have some apprehensions, meaning fear that it might be a risky thing to do for you, to not just enter right into college and go down that path. I think that path's really good for a lot of people, but I feel like the education is coming every day in life for everybody. I've seen you your whole life paying attention to what you want and figuring out what you need to learn to help you get it, what you need to do, and you work really hard. You've always worked You put a lot of energy, a lot of focus, a lot of time into everything you've done from the time you could start walking and talking and building little structures and toys and things like that. So I've seen your nature, and I totally trust, because I've seen it over and over again, that you'll do what you need to do to get what you want. And you seem really balanced to me, and I feel like if this adventure, even if it's risky, you're going to learn a lot from it. Mm-hmm. And it may be at a certain point you come to a realization like, wow, I really am getting clear about what I want to do in the long term with my life, and I want to go to school now. I'm ready to go to school and get a degree or get a certification or get a license or whatever it is. Or you may see, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to start doing this thing that I want to do. Maybe it's planting tons of trees. Maybe it's starting some kind of community. Maybe it's helping communities get access to better drinking water or food or gardening techniques. Maybe it's raising money. Like, there's so many things you can do without going to a school to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you learn doing it, and you've always been that way. So any kind of apprehensions I have are, they're very temporary, because I see your confidence in yourself. That, to me, is your qualification for taking a great risk. If someone else is going to call it a great risk, you need to take risks in your life to learn things, to grow, to change, and to do things differently, to have a different kind of life than you have. So I assume, since you want to travel, you kind of want your life to change, because you've been really here where we live in this house for a long time, and that's going to be a big change.
My proposal is that I want to become a videographer and go travel and film things and supposedly make money off of that. And I don't know how much you have thought about it, but just, does that sound crazy to you, or just how does that idea of making money through the internet sound?
Well, crazy, for sure. It sounds crazy. My confidence in you and your journey is not really dependent on you making money. Mm-hmm. Like, you may totally do a face plan as far as achieving a goal of making a living, and it would not be a failure to me. That's why you're in the classroom, you're learning, you're in your school, which is your life, and you're taking chances, and you're growing, and you're learning new things. And we learn through our mistakes, we learn through failure. Your vision of traveling and doing great things in the world is the important part. It may be that you don't end up traveling that much. You may go somewhere and stay there a long time and find a community of people that you connect with, or just one person or a group, and you may plug into something that feels really good to you, and it may not involve money, but you may be able to live in a healthy way. It may be a place where food is growing, and you're helping taking care of the food, and you're learning things about farming and gardening and sustainability, and you're filming it, and you're like a documentary, and you're putting it
documentary. Filmmaker.
A filmmaker. So you're a filmmaker. I was thinking you're documenting the life that you have, that you're living. That's
called a vlogger.
A vlogger. Okay, so you're vlogging your way through life.
Yeah.
I assume people who do make money because there are a lot of people that are not able to travel, and they want to see what life is like in other places. Or part of what they're seeing is not just another place, but something really good happening. So people are looking for hope, they're looking for inspiration, they're looking for something that gives them energy. They want to feel good. So you may be doing something that feels really good to you and people that you're with, and that will bring a kind of light or warmth or comfort to people that are watching it. And maybe you'll make money from it. Maybe you'll make a ton of money. Maybe you'll become really rich and you'll be able to start different kinds of organizations that can even help more people. But you never know till you take a risk, till you jump into your vision. So that's what I'm trusting. I'm trusting that the vision that flows through all of us is always there. And it's our job to pay attention to it. And so this whole thing for me has been that. Listening to you, hearing you, seeing how much you're working on learning how to edit and make films and soundtracks and put that together. And so to take the ideas that are in your head and express them through different mediums. It's evidence for me that you're as inspired as you ever have been. You were inspired when you were 1 year old, and you wanted to climb up the ladder. You wanted to go up on the roof, and you told me like that's all you could say was ladder and point. Like that, and you were inspired. You wanted to go see something, and you weren't scared of climbing up there. But Mama was scared. Like, okay, but be right next to him. And so, to me, this is quintessential you. Whether it's a huge success or a complete failure, in a way, it's the same thing. In a way, it may feel different, but it's a learning experience, and I feel like that's what life is.
It's like climbing up the ladder, and either there's something really cool at the top, or it's just a roof.
But you climbed up the ladder.
Yeah.
You're there, and you may be disappointed. It's like, okay, let's go back down. But I feel like you love climbing. You love going. You love exploring. And it's the process, the journey, not the arrival.
One of the things that I asked Mama when I was doing my interview with her was like if she had anything to say to other parents potentially watching this video, what would it be? And so for anyone watching this video that is wanting to like tell their parents that they want to follow their dreams and they want to go on whatever mission it is that they believe in, and they're just trying to figure out how to say that because they are worried what their parents' response is going to be. You could show your parents this whole video and my previous video where I talked about this, or you could just show them this part where my dad is gonna talk to your parents. So, Dad, what would you like to say to all the parents out there?
I'm gonna speak as if you may want the same thing I want for my children, which is health and happiness. I feel the best I can offer them towards that end is a really good connection to me. That in our relationship they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel seen and heard, valued, loved, and connected. That they get to express anything, be anything, and it's okay. And if I'm not okay with it, I'll be able to communicate that in a way that they can hear it, that they can see me. So I think what we're talking about here is hearing something from one of our kids that's completely triggering, meaning it activates great fear. We may feel it as anger first, but it's fear underneath. It's just fear of the future. Something's going to happen to my child. They're making a bad choice. I know what a good choice is, and this is a bad choice. So I'm feeling in that moment, I have to impress upon them what the good choice is. And I have to influence them. And what I have learned along the way is the more forceful I am, the more distant they become. And if I come at my kids that way, they learn to shut themselves down, to not get that reaction. Then they learn to edit their truth. So I've learned to manage my own reactions. So what I have to say, I guess, to parents is manage your reactions and try to understand what it might be like if the roles were reversed. You really wanted to do something and you felt like you wanted their permission or their blessing to get to do it. Listen for what's their longing, what are they trying to achieve with this. So in this instance, I'm listening to my son talk about the freedom of being on the road and travel and new experiences and adventure. And so I'm just getting a hold of that as those are innate to being a human being. I feel like we all want freedom. We all want adventure. We want to learn new things. So he's expressing that. And maybe I'm thinking, but that's a terrible way to do it. At this point, do it after college. Graduate, get your degree, then hit the road. But just finish up. Here you've been in kindergarten and you're going to go all the way through school, all the way through high school. The goal is to get into the best possible college you can get into. And then from there, keep going. You're moving towards the best possible job that you can get. Or you're moving towards having the resources, the skills, and the knowledge to achieve what you want to achieve, which is happiness and well-being. That's what I'm assuming we all want. So I'm trying to maintain our relationship. I'm trying to maintain the connection. The more I do that, the more I can hear that he's speaking from a healthy part. I can take time to just listen to him and then ask him questions. Ask him questions about his plans. What's his vision? What's his plan? How's he going to survive? You know, I might say, well, we have this money for you to go to college, but we're not giving you to go traveling around the world. And he may say, okay, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And so he's got to go get a job. And that's an education in itself, you know. I think the key is, for me as a parent, getting clear about why I'm afraid, why I'm angry, whatever it is, why I'm sad, why I'm overwhelmed with something that one of my kids is saying to me about their plans or their future. So I need to be connected to what that is, the emotional quality of it. And if it's fear, I need to be able to name it and say, I'm afraid. Then I can communicate that and I can say, hey, this sounds really strange that you would be saying this, but mainly it scares me. And this is why. So I can communicate to him. He's communicating to me. I can communicate to him. If that's my truth, that I'm afraid.
To all the parents who are hopefully watching this video to try to understand their kid, I hope this helps, and I'm just gonna ask a few more questions to my dad and we will wrap up the video. Well, I feel like when coming to a parent to share your dreams and what you want to be doing, it's really easy to highlight what you don't want to be doing. Like, I don't want to be going to college, I don't want to be continuing school, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But to instead focus on, I do want to be doing this and I do want to be doing that, and then, you know, I do want to go travel, I do want to meet new people, I want to go on new adventures. I feel like that is a better way to talk about it. Do you agree that it feels more comfortable to you as a parent to hear the things that your kid is dreaming of doing instead of the things that they don't want to do?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
For sure. For sure. Because it's clear.
Yeah.
What you don't want, it's only clear about what you don't want. It's not clear about what your longing is. You say your dreams, your longing, your vision, your heart's desire. And when you express it, and you express it clearly, you're saying, this is my heart's desire, to travel.
So, as you guys might be able to tell, my dad is a pretty cool guy. He always listens to me, to what I have to say, and even if it triggers him and he needs to calm down for a little bit, he'll come back to me, and which doesn't happen often, but he'll come back to me and we'll talk about it. I do know that not all parents are as open as both of my parents. I still do believe that over time, most parents will, I mean, they do want what's best for you, and their vision of what's best for you might be different than what you feel is best for you. And so just trying to help them understand that and to be patient with them, not just to give up and be like, okay, well, they're never gonna believe that this is gonna be a good life for me, and be persistent but not annoying, and to understand that they're a parent and they're being protective over you, and the reason that they're like frustrated about your dreams is because they're scared for you. Also, both of my parents are therapists, so they have always talked to me about things, and it feels normal for me to share whatever with them and to not feel weird about that. I really hope all of this information helps anyone who is looking for ways to talk to a family member. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and having this conversation. We actually made this video almost all the way through, and then the audio was all messed up and crackly. So this is the second take, and I hope it turns out well. For anyone who's watching this video, thank you for sitting down and listening to my dad and I. I hope that when you have this conversation with your parents, I hope that it goes well. Yeah, well, I'm excited for all of your dreams that you're following and all of the dreams that you aren't going to give up just because it's not what someone else had in mind for your life.
Thank you. It's fun doing it. I mean, sometimes it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
just figuring out the words and just...
Alright, well, I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Bye!